been called Bear since I was a kid, so I go by Mama Bear sometimes. I've been in Nashville for almost 18 years. I moved here. I paroled here. I was parole transferred from up north when my daughter was a newborn. Just trying to give my daughter something different than what my mother gave me, which was, she raised me in dope house and real dysfunctional life. So I intended to give my daughter a different life, and I moved out here. Did real well for a while. I struggled with addiction my whole life. I guess I was born addicted. I just found that out years ago. But struggled with addiction my whole life, and due to my addiction and reoccurring incarcerations, I gave my sister to my daughter, and I gave my daughter to my sister, and it's a downward spiral from there. I just did a year for drug felony, was released in August, and wanted to move back to Nashville to be closer to my daughter and get back on my feet. And because I had been living in West Tennessee for 5 years, so I wanted to move back to Nashville, not realizing the cost of living has tripled in the 5 years I was gone. Literally, rent has gone up 300%. I don't know if I'm doing the math right, but it's tripled. So I moved back to Nashville in August with a backpack, nothing, straight out of jail, because when a man goes to jail, his 3 baby mamas and his granny and his auntie are going to take care of him. He's going to be fine. He's going to be straight. When a woman goes to jail, there goes the house. The kids are in foster care. The car's repoed. The animals died. The pets died. Like, that's what when a woman goes to jail, everything is gone. And every time I've gone to jail, whether it's been a month or a year or 2 years, like it's a start over with nothing when I get out. So I moved here, and I went to a halfway house. It was the first time in the many times I've been to treatment that, whether inpatient or outpatient, that I did it without a court order or any type of legal, encouragement. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I was in a halfway house, and I was doing okay. I did slip up a few times, but I was doing okay, and I have a spinal injury from a domestic abuse situation. I woke up one day and I couldn't walk. I have a real bad spinal injury. So I wasn't able to work 40 hours and was put out of the halfway house because you're required to work 40 hours. And at that point, I have nowhere to go. I hadn't lived in Nashville in 5 years. I do have some old friends. I do have some, good, normal friends that don't, live the same life I live. And like I often say, I don't burn bridges, I jump off them. You know what I mean? I don't burn bridges, I jump off them. When I'm effing up, I steer away from my quote unquote normal friends. Like I could probably get a place to stay and a place to shower and food every day but I don't like to ask and I don't like to bother people. And so I ended up on the streets in October, bouncing from friend to friend. And then November, my old man of 9 years, who I had left back in West Tennessee, was waiting for him to get ready to clean up and move out here. He passed away, and I kind of fell off completely. It's a full-time job, feeling sorry for yourself. And I could have got up every day and worked and done what I needed to do to at least survive. Housing's a whole nother thing. Like, even if I do work every day, like, I can't afford the rent out here. They want $1,600 for a one bedroom, and so I get discouraged when the achievable goal, when the goal seems unachievable. You know what I mean? I get really discouraged due to my criminal record. I'm not really eligible for a lot of housing assistance, and so I've been homeless since October. My biggest problem is my addiction. My biggest problem is me, honestly. But when it comes to like homelessness and stuff, Nashville seems to have a lot of resources. Surprisingly, there's pretty much somewhere you can eat every day. And as far as like, which I have not utilized really those resources much. I will say that the homeless community, or the small group of people that I've met in this little neighborhood, I've never had so much free clothing available to me. Like, there's, people just give and share, and trade. And like, I found a pair of boots yesterday because I could remember somebody I know needed a pair of size 9 work boots, so I grabbed them. I'm always trying to help the next person. But I don't know. I think the Women's Mission. I did go to Women's Mission. Which it is, the new building has opened up, so it is, brand fresh and shiny, and there's new mattresses and all that, but it's still, even though the facility itself isn't bad, not like the men's. The men's, I guess, is horrible. I guess there's more dope at the inside the mission than there is outside, from what I hear. They had to take, my old man was staying there, he said they had to take the bathroom stalls off because dudes are getting raped in there, and it's like. But the Women's Mission, the hard part is, like, I was working, I get up at 3 in the morning to go to work, and so I'm missing breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but I can't bring any food, mind you, can't bring any food to the mission for me to take for a lunch, you know what I mean, because if I work day labor, I'm gone the whole day, so I can't bring any food into the mission to take for a lunch, even if I keep it in the office or whatever. I can't bring any food there. Take for lunch. So now you're telling me that I can't eat all day unless I save money from the day before. And not only that, like 6 o'clock curfew is hard. You get in at 6, and I have X amount of time to get my bed and everything. And you have about 75 women sleeping in one room. You're not sleeping. And they're snoring, and everybody's got their issues. And I think 1 out of every 5 people pees on themselves, and 2 out of every 10 people talk to themselves. So it's a little different, I mean? I'm not judging anybody in the mental health because I have those issues as well, but I think that they could make exceptions to make it easier for people to work, because there's people in there that have no reason to not work. Like, I'm like, come on to day labor with me, and you know what I mean? I don't work all the time, but it's a come as you, first come, first serve, day labor. You can go one day and not go the next day, whatever, but like people that just don't want to work because it's too, a lot of them just don't. I'm like, how have you been at the mission for a year? And you just don't want to do anything, and then I ended up, getting in the same cycle, just not. I'd rather hang out and get high, honestly. A lot. I've been over 100 months total of my life. I've done 4 years in the past, 4 year-long stays in the past 8 years. That doesn't count all the little, 2 days, 12 days, 60 days, 40 days, 11 days. I've been to 7 counties in Tennessee, 9 counties in Tennessee. If I get in trouble one more time, because I'm on 18 years of paper right now, if I get in trouble one more time, I'll be in prison for 6 years. It'll be 6 years before I'm eligible for parole. I'm on 18 years of paper for a gram and a a ball. Two separate charges. But a gram and an 8 ball, I'm on 18 years paper.
Two separate charges?
I'm on an 8 and a 10 stack.
Is that your drug of choice?
My drug of choice?
Yeah.
Meth and heroin. But there's no heroin anymore. It's fentanyl, and
That's very bad.
it's scary. It's scary. I've overdosed, a few times, and that's one hard part about being homeless is like, if you're around, you know what I mean? People, they say in sobriety, if you'll be in recovery, like people, places, and things, and it's hard to stay sober when everybody else around you is using. And of course, I could isolate and hang out by myself, but then, it'll be hard. Like like I said, we take care of each other as a community. You know what I mean? I probably wouldn't eat much if I was to isolate and be by myself. So, but my biggest problem is me. Like I'm sure a lot of us could, help the situation. But the cost of living in Nashville is ridiculous, and I've never seen so many homeless people as I have. Like I said, I've been gone from Nashville for 5 years, and it's ridiculous. So the cost of living is ridiculous. All these fancy rich white folk move to Nashville because they think it's all white people and country music, and they didn't realize that downtown's cute and it's surrounded on all four sides by hoods and projects. So all the fancy rich white folk got the projects all starting to tear down all the projects. So where do normal people, where do broke people live? You know what I mean? And they don't want to look at the projects and we're like, where are all these people going? Where are these people going? Do you know how many women at the mission, elderly and handicapped, because they tore down their projects?
Yes.
And they didn't have somebody to help them. They probably could have found, use their voucher to find housing, but there's nobody to help them. You know what I mean? There's not enough resources when they're tearing down 400 apartments at once. Who's supposed to help them with that? You know what I mean? Nashville it's gotten real. I don't like Nashville anymore. It's lost its hometown charm. It's lost. It's not. Don't get stuck in a cycle. Don't settle. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, a few years ago, before I ended up homeless, I had labeled myself as blah blah blah, and I accepted that as my fate. You know what I mean? So, none of us are perfect, but if you try to do better than you did the day before, maybe something can happen for you.